We are at Ford's Theater, which is widely known as the location where the 16th President of the United States, President Abraham Lincoln, was shot. Now, across the street is the Peterson House, which is where he actually passed away. We're going to view both today. What most people don't realize is that Ford's Theater is actually a working theater. Where we're headed right now is to the basement, and that's one of the nights that we use. And a lot of the great thing about the basement is it has a museum, and the artifacts are actually real. We're going to see in a moment the gun that was actually used to assassinate President Lincoln. But as you can see, it tells a vivid story about the assassination plot and how the assassins worked together, the secession, the portions of Civil War history. So it's a really comprehensive museum. One of the things I really enjoy about coming here is that there are park rangers on hand. These rangers are here to help you understand the history of Ford's Theater, the assassination plot, and all the folks that are involved and how it connects to history. And here's what that sounds like.
It's a unique time in history where we've got these artistic interpretations and these actual photographs all describing what happened. And looking here, you can see the generals wearing their mourning sashes tied around their arms. That's these ribbons.
Normally getting anywhere in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area is a problem, especially if you're going to be doing it by car. However, there's a parking garage right next to Ford Theater, so driving here is not going to be a problem at all. The most recommended method to get here would be the metro. Now, those of you who are familiar with my channel know that I specialize in fun and interesting things for individuals and families to do in the DC metro area. And for $3.50 to enter this museum, it is money well spent. The most centralized figure in Lincoln's assassination is, of course, the assassin himself, which is John Wilkes Booth. And one of the things that are on display here at the museum is not only the weapon that was used, but a replica of the bullet, and that's the actual gun that was used. And there are volunteers who are here to help you understand the significance of that moment in history and to help explain other artifacts within the museum. Here's a little bit of what that sounds like.
As you'll see from that, for many, many years they refused to show it. It was hidden away in the government archive somewhere. It was felt it would encourage bad behavior or something to show a weapon that had been used for violence. When it was turned over to the Park Service in 1940, we began to show it.
So we're going to change gears. We're going to head upstairs and see the actual location where President Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth. And you'll see that Ford's Theater is an absolutely beautiful theater. I mentioned earlier it's a working theater. I saw a play here later on in the same year, and it's a beautiful location. So if you're in the DC metro area and they're having a play done now, as you can see, they're setting up for production right now, I absolutely recommend you go here. A lot of folks who come here have a lot of questions about the originality, the history of Ford's Theater, about Lincoln himself. And one of the things I really like is that the rangers who are here are very well versed, not only on the history, but are so willing to help you walk you through the exact process of how things happen. And here's a little bit of what that sounds like.
Huge collapse in 1893, 22 federal employees killed, over 60 more injured. In this old collapsing building. And so after they decided to repair the building, they decided to bring it back in the original Ford's Theater design like this. That means pretty much everything you're seeing is a reproduction of that time.
You may recall I mentioned earlier that Lincoln was shot in Ford's Theater, but he was alive after he was shot, and his body was taken next door to the Peterson House. And the Peterson House is quite spectacular. I'm going to take you there in a minute to show you the actual bed where Lincoln was when he died. But for right now, we're going to move on over to the booth, and that's it right there, where Lincoln was shot. I'm going to do my best to put my camera in here to show you what it looks like, but you actually get a chance to stick your head in here, and it's kind of an oval shape, and you get a chance to look in the booth and see exactly where Lincoln was shot. So you really get as close as the Park Service can allow you to go. Now right here you're looking at the Peterson House, and this is where Lincoln's body was taken after he was shot. And that right here is the living room, the entrance where they had some cabinet meetings, and this is the bed where Lincoln actually died. Those of you who are students of history know that Lincoln is one of our most beloved presidents. And what you can see right here is a stack, several stories high, of books that have been written about Abraham Lincoln. And it looks to be maybe hundreds, if not thousands, of books here that describe Lincoln. This is a replication of the train that was used to transport his body. So there's a lot more to see historically and also interest-wise within the Peterson House. You're not going to be disappointed in coming to Ford's Theater. The only disadvantage is that it's not on the National Mall, so there's a short walk to get here. And also, all the museums usually are free within DC. This one costs you just about $4.